then it gets to the retrofit portion where they're actually going to convert that information into real energy-saving activities. And again, it's how do you sort through the information, particularly the audit report, where to turn to make sure that you have the right contractor and that contractor is delivering what they claim they're delivering. And again, there's lots of different federal, state, and utility incentives for the right mix of efficiency measures. And so Suzanne's helping with each one of those issues as well. We have a local partnership that we're trying to finalize with a branch of SunTrust Bank to be the home for a loan loss reserve for us to help provide some low-interest financing for people that want to do big retrofit work in their homes. Suzanne can help sort of get them in the channels to access that financing. And this last point is a big one as well. We're looking to continuously improve the program, and also speaking to that issue of neighbor-to-neighbor feedback and trust, derive from the people that are participating in the program their satisfaction or dissatisfaction with aspects of it, so that we can communicate that to the other people in University Park.
Yeah, from a mayor's perspective, one of the most important issues is the hiring of that energy coach. There are two reasons for that. Aside from the technical skills of the individual must be able to fit into the community, must be able to talk to the audience that's specific to the town that they're working in. And that may vary from community to community. And so we went through a very intense recruitment process and met. The committee that was selecting Suzanne met extensively in order to get to the point of offering to that individual. The other aspect, which is partially a selection issue and partially a governance, is understanding the style of the individual, because there is a liability problem. If we start to make recommendations, and the energy coach is an agent of the town, starts to make recommendations favoring one person or one system over another, there can be liability problems. And so you have to select an individual who's able to balance information and staying neutral at the same time. And so there's some issues that you have to address when looking at that individual and choosing that individual.
So returning to the logic model, all of those were the underpinning assumptions that made us believe we had a program in University Park that might work and that might be a replicable model. And then we turned our attention to the resources. What did we have at our disposal in order to build the program? And much of this we've touched upon already. If you look at the column on the left, this speaks a lot to this issue of social marketing, which we spoke to before. So we needn't go over it exhaustively. Other than to say, at each step of engaging with these different community assets, already we started to get feedback that some of our assumptions were correct. And so Mayor Tabori mentioned the University Park Women's Club celebrating its 70th year. I had the opportunity to speak with them in November after we'd been notified of the award, but really before we'd done much in terms of a launch. And these are really the sort of people in town who you would consider carry a critical weight in terms of their opinion and their ability to influence other people. And they were really interested in this opportunity and asked so many questions that we got the hook eventually because we ran out of time. And so the eagerness with which the editor of the newsletter welcomed the inserts about this, and our ability to work with the people that manage the listserv, all of that started to provide early feedback that we were in a community that was motivated to do this. The other issue here is there's lots of resources that are out there that both we can make use of and contribute to, depending on the resource and the time. So I mentioned, obviously, this is made possible by a grant through the Department of Energy, but the PEPCO utility in our region has a very comprehensive home performance with Energy Star audit program with incentives that was made possible by some of the early work done by the Maryland Energy Administration. Both PEPCO and MEA have their own incentives to try and move the market towards efficiency, and we wanted to make sure we captured all of those and also drew UP residents towards those excellent programs. I mentioned SunTrust already. The organization that I work for, the Alliance to Save Energy, its name would imply we do a lot of work in this field, and we've been able to tap into the deep pools of expertise at the Alliance to answer certain questions and move parts of this program. But there's other community resources as well that we've really tried to leverage as a function of this. And during the course of preparing the proposal, we took some time to really identify the assets in the community and the resources that we were going to leverage in order to support those assumptions.
I think I would in particular point to the Community Solar LLC, which is a local group which originated in this town and developed a limited liability corporation to install solar panels on a local church. They've successfully done that. They successfully went through all of the different issues that are associated with that, including the technical and the legal and financial issues, which is quite a feat considering how complex many of those are in the modern age. But you know, that also suggested a real expertise emerging in the town as people got motivated about that. And of course, as the mayor of the town, I'm always interacting with our the local towns. We have 27 municipalities in our county. About a third of our population lives in our county, and we deal with each other all the time. And many of them have shared ideas and concepts with me, and we're sharing back with them.
Stuart, we appear to not be able to advance. Oh, good. Slides are advancing now. So with the assumptions and the underlying resources, we then go through a series of activities. You know, we launched the program, and now we're going with the audits and starting to set up the other aspects of the program. And so going back to the logic model, what are we starting to see as the immediate and intermediate outcomes that feed back into those assumptions and resources? One of them is immediately we are seeing a reduction in the classic barriers to energy efficiency. One of the issues about an information barrier is that either people don't know what's available to them, or there's too much information out there and they're not sure what is optimal. And so through both getting information from trusted sources and having Suzanne really serve as a focal point for providing that information, noting, as Mayor Tabori did, the fine balance between providing information and making recommendations, we're finding that people feel comfortable with the information they're getting and comfortable that it is of sufficient quality for them to make the complex set of decisions that they need to make. The second barrier that we're seeing as an immediate outcome of the program is the transaction barriers. And I want to stress this because I think this is often underestimated in the energy efficiency world, that the people are busy, they're lazy, their lives are complicated, and they're doing other things. And there are multiple steps involved in efficiency that it looks good on paper, but the ability to actually implement and make the transaction stick is very complex. It's time intensive, it's labor intensive. It often involves contractors coming in on perhaps multiple occasions. And so, once again, being able to feel a degree of comfort, even to enter that pool of activity, by hearing about a neighbor who's done it successfully, by maybe going to their home and seeing some of the work that's been done, certainly by working with Suzanne through each step of the process, those transaction barriers have been reduced greatly. The final or one sort of that's a classic is financial barriers. You know, this costs money, and we're in a time of fiscal restraint, and So people are counting their pennies, and our ability to both provide financing, help people access the valuable incentive programs that are available at the federal, state, and utility level, help them understand the payback for this investment. It's why we place such an emphasis on having a premium quality individual as the energy coach. They need to be able to cover all that waterfront of the right information and the transaction barriers, and also helping in terms of pointing people towards the right financing.